Report. Okay, let's move to another timed item at 1:30. It's discussion and possible action regarding, let's see, got the wrong one. Discussion possible action regarding ordinance amendment OA-2-2008, which would amend Chapter 20, Division 1, Division 2, regarding floodplain districts. The proposed changes reflect updating the existing floodplain development ordinances to be in compliance with the Federal Emergency Management Agency standards for development in areas of identified flood hazard. At this point, I will open the public hearing, and to the clerk, proper noticing and/or correspondence received as of today.
Yes, we have proper notice, and no, we have not received any correspondence on the item.
Okay. And the sponsor is the Planning and Building Services Department. Mr. Lynch.
Yeah, periodically FEMA updates their ordinances, and the last time we updated ours was in 1992. Also periodically FEMA comes through and does an audit of our administration of the floodplain regulations, and when they came in last time, they said they noticed that we needed to update our ordinance to match the state model ordinance, and that is what this ordinance is proposing to do. And essentially we're not doing anything different. We're just mirroring exactly what the state model ordinance is, with the exception that under the definition of substantial improvement, there is an exemption from floodplain regulations if what you're doing doesn't equate to more than 50% of the value of an existing structure. So if you're coming in and you're doing an addition to your house, and that addition doesn't increase the value of the house or create more than a 50% increase in the value, then you'd be exempt. What's happened over time, though, is we know some people come in 1 year with a roof, 1 year with an addition, 1 year with whatever, and it's kind of a bookkeeping problem for us in trying to figure out what the values we should be looking at. So in order to provide some time frame, we're suggesting that we look at the previous 5 years for any improvements to determine if that constitutes a substantial improvement. The other changes in the code would be, again, strictly to just parallel what is in the state model ordinance. The only pitch I guess I would give is that FEMA does give credit, if you will, to the local insurance rates if the local jurisdiction provides more stringent standards than the minimum standards of the model ordinance. So as it stands now, when you build something to the base flood elevation, if you made it 1 foot above or 2 feet above, which the state is what they recommend, they do give you some credit, if you will, towards people who have individual insurance policies within the county, and it reduces those fees, but we acknowledge it makes the construction standards more difficult to meet. So with that, I'll try to respond to your questions.
Questions of Mr. Lynch on this proposal? Any questions from the board? Okay, I will go to public input on this item. Anyone in the public wishing to speak to this item, please come forward, state your name for the record, keep your comments 3 minutes. Any members of the public? Once, twice, 3 times. I'll close the public comment period at this time and bring it back to staff for final remarks.
None.
Okay. To the board, questions of the staff? Okay. I'll close the public hearing at this point and remand it back to the board for action. What's the action of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move the recommended motion.
Okay. There's a motion by Supervisor Pinches. Do I hear a second?
Second.
There is a second by Supervisor Colfax. Discussion to the motion? Hearing, seeing none. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Passes unanimously, 5-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Lynch. And now we move to another timed item at 1:30. This item 7D4 is a public hearing to consider an appeal of a coastal permit administrator's action of 7/24/08, approving the following. This is case number CDP 68-2007, Don and Jan Plenty. Let's see, procedures for this. To the director, Director will provide a report, and then the board will address the items. And I'll ask the clerk at this time for proper notice.
Yes, we do have proper notice.
Okay. Staff will provide the report. The Board of Supervisors will hold, the board will ask questions of the staff report and then hold any additional questions till after all the presentations are given. I'll then call on the appellant for a presentation of 20 minutes maximum, followed by the applicant, who will receive 20 minutes also in maximum. Let's see, I will then take public input at that time. Keep your comments 3 minutes. The appellants and the applicants will then be allowed to follow with a 5-minute final remark period each. The staff will then present any final remarks. The board will present any questions of the staff, the applicant, the appellant, or public comment. I'll then close the public hearing and remand the matter back to the board. So, Mr. Lynch, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an appeal of, I think it was one of Ray Hall's decisions in approving a coastal development permit, and this is for a fence that would be along a person